greetings, beautiful people. I have missed you guys. I knew I needed to do a video today, y'all, but I'm gonna be totally honest with you. When I went to look at the channel, sometimes when I don't do videos all the time, I go to the channel, I kind of tiptoe. You know, I have like 4 channels. So I kind of tiptoe and I'm like, okay, what am I going to see today? I didn't realize I hadn't done a video in 17 days. I really didn't realize I hadn't done a video in 17 days. I've been so busy, but you guys are part of the reason why I have been so busy. I'm trying to do make some adjustments and add a few more products to the product line and changing the packaging. I want to say, before I even get into this video about how to keep your hair healthy once you've dyed it, I want to just give a major shout out to all of you here on the channel for your support, for your love, for your comments, for everything. I haven't said this in a minute. I used to say it a lot in the beginning. I just want y'all to know that this channel has changed my life. You guys have changed my life. Y'all keep me connected. And you know, the funny thing is, every time I'm kind of absent for a minute before I can get back to do a video, once I sit down to actually do the video, I'm like, dang, this just feels so good. Because y'all know I'm Virgo energy, so I'm very, I'm always working, and my work is my passion. So this is part of my work, or has become part of my work because of the development of some of the products. But my work is also healing. I do a lot of healing work, and then I have a lot of different things that I have my hands in, and I'm very passionate about building certain things because I have certain goals that I want to accomplish in the next 2 to 3 years. So sometimes I can get lost in all of that, and I have to bring myself back into balance. So one thing I did do coming into 2021 was to make the choice to only work 4 days a week in terms of taking clients and actual video or face-to-face appointments. So that leaves me with 3 days off. But to me, off is still like working. I still find myself doing things. So I'm still working on that. But anyway, I miss the hell out of y'all. I want to thank y'all for everything, your support on the channel. You guys, I had no idea when I started sharing the oil, the new and improved proprietary oil, by way of Sophia, with you all, that it was going to turn out to grow in such a short amount of time. I had no idea. The first version of it is on the channel for free, and then I began to develop something that was more attuned to what my particular hair needed. I was dealing with a lot of lint. I had a lot of other issues. Y'all know I dye my hair a lot. And so this new oil works so much better for me. But I had no idea that through sharing the oil with you all, that was going to become a blessing. And it has become a blessing. And I want to thank you all for that, because I'm not only expanding the line and looking at some of the comments that you guys have given me over time by adding a pomade, which is more of a, you guys asked me, there's a recipe that's been in my family for, I don't know, my mother created it when we were kids, and she used to use it on our hair, and I modified it maybe, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago, and you guys had asked me about that, and I didn't think twice about it, just like you guys had asked me about the recipe for the oil that's on the channel, and to make that, and it took me a whole year and a half to finally follow the spiritual guidance to go ahead and do that. But so I'm adding some other products to the product line, and Sophia is helping with that because, she has her own channel and she's into the traditional locks. And so trying to find the perfect product for her that's healthy for her hair has been something that she spent a lot of time doing. And so we're adding some things, and hopefully once I get the packaging together and some other things, I'm definitely going to be offering some discounts on that product only for the people that are coming from this channel. So regardless of what the other methods of ordering different things in this product line will be, I want you to still text me your information like you have before, and I'll let you know what the discount codes are going to be so that you can get discounts, because were it not for you guys, I would not be on this path. And so I just have to say thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm thankful to the Creator, but I'm thankful to you all for following your own internal guidance, which led you to the channel, which allows you to support the channel. I just appreciate you all in so many wonderful ways. these channels, I mean, like, these channels allow people to reach out to me and me to reach out to people that otherwise I may never have known. Some of you women on the channel, shout out to Dion, shout out to Crystal, shout out to Ollie, shout out to Sharon, shout out to, just so many people are made up. There's hundreds and hundreds of you all. Shirley, people that I'm in contact with on a regular basis or through ordering a product or some other service, a reading or Reiki session or whatever. And y'all have enriched my life like nothing else. So I'm just grateful as hell for y'all. So anyway, just to get into the topic about dyeing, y'all know I have dyed my hair a lot. Dyeing my hair and using henna was the thing that caused all of my hair to break, which eventually led me to get the locks in the first place. Okay, my hair was long, was probably like this in the front. My back is always much longer than my front. This is always the case, but this is also a result of me. Well, it's the curls make it look shorter too, but it's also the result of me picking lint, which was an obsession if you've been watching the channel. Something I did like an OCD idiot for so long, and didn't mind breaking my locks, because once I started picking the lint, I had to get the lint out, and the lint became something that took over my life. I think I probably have over 10 videos on this channel about lint. I don't deal with much lint anymore thanks to my I Am Melanin Magic hair oil. At least it's helping. And then I had some practices that I had to learn from, some things that I was doing that were contributing to the lint. But I dyed my hair, and then I turned around. First I had the henna in there. Then I turned around shortly after and I put the dye in, not realizing that henna, just because it is natural, it does something to the ionic structure of your hair strand. It is still a chemical, and it's serious business. So that caused my hair to fall out immensely. It got to be to where I cut it like this. And then I started wearing twists, and then it got to be a lot to maintain. Having had relaxers my whole life, I was like, what the heck? Like, how come I can't do my own hair? I'm black. I'm supposed to know how to do my hair. Like, well, what's going on? How come every time I'm in the bathroom and I'm combing it, it's tangled, and I just combed it like an hour ago? Or if I would try to straighten it to put some curls in it, and I would straighten it, literally my hair used to sweat a lot when I was a kid anyway. I go downstairs and my hair's starting to draw up again. So I was like, okay, I can't do this. This is too much maintenance for me. I need help. So I decided to get the locks. But in this lock journey, you hear a lot about that you shouldn't dye your hair, or that you can't dye your hair, or you should get it dyed before the locks and all of that stuff. And I just wanted to tell you all about my particular experience. That's all I like to talk about on this channel. I don't even like, and a lot of you guys reach out to me for advice. I don't like really giving advice about your particular hair situation, because I don't really know the ins and outs of it. And from an intelligence standpoint, all I can really talk about is my own experience. I try to be helpful where I can be, but I ask always that you do your own research and that you figure out what works for your hair, and that you consider what you already know about your hair going in, because everybody's hair is different. My Sisterlock journey has been a wonderful journey. It's been a great journey. It was the best choice I've ever made. I have things that I say regarding the brand, some constructive criticism, I believe, and all of that. But as a whole, I support the brand. I wear my locks proudly, okay? But I have no problem speaking my mind when it comes to certain things. But I've enjoyed this journey. I love it, and I would do it again 100 times, no matter how much it cost me to get these locks in my hair. Because like I say, I have been freed from the tyranny of hair enslavement. I don't have to worry about my hair anymore. I have a good hair day. So when it comes down to color, I love color. Everything in my life is color. I like to wear color. I like to see colors on the plate when I eat. I like color around me. So when the seasons change, oftentimes I get really inspired. And to be honest with you, if it wasn't for the fact that I was still carrying the remnants of that rinse that I put in last fall, I think it probably went in sometime around September. Yeah, and it still is holding up better than the actual dye. I would probably have dyed my hair again already coming into the spring. I love the spring. It's my favorite time of the year. I can tell you right now, y'all can expect more videos. expect to see us doing some videos outside too, because it's beautiful here in Atlanta already. Y'all see I tried to put on my sleeveless stuff. Getting to the point, timestamp 10:03. So anyway, yeah, I just had to catch up with y'all because I miss y'all. Y'all know, and I talk a lot. I love to talk and I love to share. So those of you who are on the channel know that about me, and y'all accept that about me. So I love y'all. Got it. Did you catch that? So, okay. I've dyed my hair a lot over the years. Okay. I was taught that we should not dye it or to avoid it because of the drying effects and so forth and so on. I still say that if that's what you believe, go ahead and be on that. The first thing I'm going to tell you, though, is to take two things into consideration. One is the strength and the level of health of your current hair situation. And number two, what you already know about your hair, period. There's some things that we can change. There's some things that we can improve. There's some things we can enhance. As I go up the ladder, I'm going to more and more subtle, gradual, sort of like a continuum. Some things we can change. Some things we can improve. Some things we can just enhance. Some things we don't have as much an influence over. I believe that you can enhance anything. I believe that you can improve anything. I don't care what type of hair you were born with. I don't care what your particular disposition is. We're surrounded by abundance. There is no limitations except the limited limitations that you set for yourself. So I don't believe in finiteness. Finiteness is not a word, but I don't believe in the finite, okay? Because there's nothing in the universe that is finite. So I don't believe in somebody telling you, well, you can't do this with your hair because of that, or you can't improve the thickness of your hair because of some silly study that somebody did. When we see science theories and concepts being turned upside down every single day, when we come to know more, okay, we have had to make so many adjustments and things that we know are not true anymore, from the fact that we know the earth is round and not flat. And some people are still debating that. But my point is this. You can change anything about yourself and your hair that you choose to change or improve or adjust or enhance. That being said, you should, obviously it's preferential if you dye your hair before you get your locks. That is a fact. So if you can do that, wonderful. But at somewhere during your journey, especially as you're morphing and you're changing and you're becoming more of who you are, you may want to cut them. You may want to change the style. You may want to change the color. You know how we women are. We are transformational creatures. Part of our divine feminine essence has to do with beauty, sensuality, decorating, all of those things that make us flow and feel in harmony with the seasons and the life cycles. So nothing is static. Everything is always changing, and you too will change, and you may want to dye your hair. So my suggestion to you is, first, take into consideration the overall health of your hair, period. Okay? You can have a head full of locks, okay, and the locks not necessarily be healthy. Has my hair taken a beating from the constant dyeing? I think I dyed 8 or 9 times with Vidal Sassoon, which is actual chemicals. I've never bleached. I don't think I will ever bleach. I know that if I bleached, I could get a lot more color, staying power and longevity, especially with the rinses. But I'm satisfied with the residue of what the Vidal Sassoon lightning did, to the point that when I put the Adore Beauty Supply color on my hair, it sticks and it stays, and it gives me the brightness and the vitality. Like I said, it's been how many months? Since October, since I did this, and you can see I still have color. Okay, but it was way brighter than that, but I'm satisfied. So, but going in, my hair was already healthy, and I knew my hair was healthy. Why? Because I take care of my hair. Now, here's a prime example. This is me, my experience, me using my common sense. It's not going to apply to everybody. If I was not putting any oils in my hair, and I was one of those lock people who feel like you shouldn't put any oil in your Sisterlocks, when in fact I knew my hair needed oil before I got my Sisterlocks, there would be no way that I would dye my hair, because I would feel that the extra drying would add to more brittleness and my hair would break, because you already know that the dye is going to take a toll on your hair anyway. So first, just me, if I was not in that if I was in that category of people who already don't oil my hair, I would consider dyeing it. I would consider that twice or 3 times before I put anything in my hair at all. Because the dye is going to dry your hair out. The dye dried my hair out. My hair now is still not as soft as it was years ago before I started putting the dye in. Okay? I've put the dye in however many times, 8, 9, 10 times, I don't know. And then I started using the rinses. I think I used the rinses maybe 3 times total, because the rinses allow me to get a lot more time in between coloring. But with the rinses, I do leave them in extra long. I do process a little bit longer than the time. And I believe that had I rinsed them out, which would probably take several hours to rinse red out and get it all out to where it's not bleeding in the shower. If I really did that and I didn't leave it in, I probably wouldn't have experienced the level of dryness on my ends. Now, I didn't experience that throughout my whole head, just in certain areas. I might be playing with my locks at certain times and I may notice weakness at the bottom, and then I may just pull it because of my OCD-ness. I keep fooling with it and just finally take it off because I'm like, it's going to fall off anyway. All right. I probably have done that over time with maybe 20 locks. I can't really tell. My hair has not experienced any serious fallout. It's still strong, but my state of strength, where my hair began in the first place when I started coloring, hasn't compromised my situation. Y'all already know my free oil is on the channel. Type in Miracle Grow Oil. I have been using my own oil for over 8 years, closer to maybe 9, because I'm coming up on maybe this summer, I think, might be 10 years of having my locks. This is to die for. This is my I Am Melanin Magic hair oil. This is to die for. And the reason why is because over time, what you do to your hair is what adds strength. Okay. And that's what gives you the ability to bounce back and be resilient. It's no different than exercising. I haven't done a great job of exercising. So I experience sometimes my muscles not doing what they're supposed to do because I didn't put the work in, right? But if you've been putting the work in, and then you take some time off, you're not going to suffer as bad as the person who hadn't been putting the work in. So hair and the nutritive demands of what it requires to have healthy hair is a cumulative process. It doesn't happen overnight. You don't just use a product and then think in 3 or 4 months your hair is going to be strong enough for you to do something as debilitating as dye can be to our hair. We know it's a chemical process. It changes the hair. If the developers actually weaken the hair strand and all of those things. So you need to not only make sure your hair is strong, but you need to be using a product that keeps your hair strong in the midst of the beading that you're putting on it. Whether you are curling these, some people curl them, some people over style them, which puts stress on them, some people over color them, some people over wash them, some people pull them up into these styles that cause their edges and so forth to thin out. Whatever it is that you might be doing with your locks, you need to make sure that the product that you're putting on your hair keeps your hair healthy, because the healthier your hair is, the better you're going to be when you dye it. When you dye the hair, you're going to experience some excessive drying, drier than normal. The texture of your hair is going to change. I don't care what anybody says. It's not going to be as soft as it used to be. These locks, the dye gets in them, right? And if this stuff is not fully rinsed out, and you have to ask yourself, like, can we really get it all out? Like, really? How much rinsing would you have to do to make sure you got all of those chemicals out? So you have to assume logically that there's going to be some percentage of residue that's going to continue to be active in your locks after, because these things are so dense and they're packed tight. And if you can't get, and the color is seeping through these, it's not just on the outside. I would argue with anyone who told me that the color just resides on the outside of the lock. That just doesn't make sense. The same way all the other things get in our lock. We can't, once you start putting stuff in your locks, the likelihood of you ever being able to get it all out, as if you never put anything in there in the first place, is going to be very slim, because these locks are designed to combine around and to gnat, I don't know if that's the right word, around not only cottons and lint and hair debris, but everything else, which is why if you start taking a lock out, inevitably you're going to see some lint, some particles and everything else, even if you don't see it by just looking at the hair. It's life. Life requires spring cleaning, right? So hair needs to be healthy. You need to give extra attention to taking care of the ends. So if you were using an oil spray, for example, and you typically put it here, okay, you need to make sure that you coat the strands, okay, and that you love on your tresses. All right, you want to reduce the amount of styling, because if the weakness is going to be at the ends, which is where it usually is, your hair coming from here moving down here is always going to be stronger than what is at the ends. I don't feel that you have to worry about losing actual locks unless your hair is already in a state of arrest. But you will need to be concerned about the impact that the hair is going to have in terms of the extra demands that you will have for moisturization, hydration, and conditioning. And that's going to be really important. You want to decrease the amount of styling, because if you do like a lot of curly styles, I love a lot of curly styles, even though I don't do them as much as I used to. When you're curling, the rollers, they wrap around this part of your hair, which is a lot more susceptible to breakage. So once you've colored your hair, you need to be very careful about that. And I would suggest using end wrappers, because it helps to hold in some of the moisture, okay? And it protects the hair from whatever the device is that you're using. I love the pipe cleaners. I love them more than I like the Wrap-A-Lot tool. But the pipe cleaners, sometimes your hair can get caught on them. Okay, that's the one major advantage that you don't run into as much with the Wrap-A-Lot tool. So you want to be careful with the curling tools that you are using. You want to make sure that the shampoo and the other products that you may be using on your hair help to put some of the ingredients back in that your hair may have lost. You want to keep all heat off your hair if at all possible. That may sound strange for Sisterlock wearers, but a lot of us still use heat on our hair. Some people use heat to curl their locks with. The heat and the color just puts you at a greater disadvantage, in that the susceptibility of your hair to being weak and breaking is a big thing. If you are doing coloring on your hair, I would suggest that you add the vitamins of folic acid, biotin, your B12 vitamins to your hair. Make sure that you put extra added emphasis on your diet, that you're eating healthy, that you're taking these extra vitamin supplements, and also add some MSM to your diet, which is very good. You know, I only use the flakes, but they fortify your hair, they thicken your hair, and it really, really can help with building the strength of your hair. These are things that you want to be super, super mindful of. Excessive washing just is going to dry your hair out more over time. So if you're someone that excessively washes, you want to be careful of that. Anything that you were already taking precautions on as it relates to your hair, you're going to need to be more aware of if you decide to dye. For example, your retightenings. If your locks marry before you go in, you really gotta really be on it. You gotta really make sure that you take the time to separate those locks out, that you take the time to make sure that there's no additional breakage that's going to occur, because your hair is already going to be weaker. Keep that in mind. If it's the frequency that you're doing the reties at, everything, the tenderness with which you treat your hair, sleeping with a satin cap, which I do not do. Okay, and I'm telling you guys this, especially for those of you who don't use this oil. I can vouch for this because this is what I've been using on my hair all these years. I have two other friends in particular who've had their locks way longer than me, and my hair outpaced their locks long before. My hair is thicker than it was in the beginning. It's gotten stronger, and I know that it is because I use only the best ingredients. Okay, they are the best ingredients. They are all natural, and they fortified my hair, and I was invested for the long term and for the long haul, and over time it has built a lot of strength in my locks. Now, what do I need to be careful of now is the extra weight from the length. I don't feel the weight because I switched this out, but you notice overall, you know that there is more weight because the lock is longer. So I have to start taking other precautions to make sure that my hair doesn't thin. So I'll be looking at closely some other things that I notice as time goes on and I continue on this journey with my locks, because I too don't want to suffer from some of the things that many of the sisters have shared on the channel with regard to thinning, balding, and some other issues. But take your vitamins, drink lots of water, eat right, do the simple things you need to do. Take into consideration the health of your hair, what your hair could withstand before you even got locks in the first place, the timing of the coloring in terms of whether or not your hair is healthy enough to withstand it, the kind of products you use. Again, I use the Vidal Sassoon coloring system. I did use one of the, what is it? I forget, it's Soft and Beautiful. I tried that before I went to the rinse the last time. So maybe that was sometime around the end of last spring. It did absolutely nothing. It changed my color, didn't change my color at all. And it reminded me of why I was never successful using those products. Anyway, for some reason, I never got the color. I just never got the color effect, which is why I started trying bold colors that look very, very bright in the box, because I knew at least I would get some color shift. But now I use the Adore product for color that you can get right out of your beauty supply store. Most standard beauty supply stores have it. I think I have Crimson Red and Real Red. I have two red colors that I mixed up. I put it in my hair, I saturate it, I let it stay in there for about 45 minutes. That's beyond the time I think that you're supposed to let it stay in there. I sometimes may get closer to an hour, but outside of taking care of your hair and making sure that you keep your overall hair healthy, so that the hair that is growing down stays healthy, so that if you do experience a little bit of loss, it's not going to be disastrous. Those are going to be the most important things for me to remind you of. If you, by the way, are interested in purchasing the oil, you can text me. My number is 678-438-6442. Refrain though from the expectation of me giving advice. I try not to give too much advice. If you're new to the journey, I've used oil since the beginning. That's one thing I can tell you. Efraj put oil in my hair from day one, and I was one of those by the book Sisterlock people in the beginning. Even though we didn't know much about it because it's all secrecy, I was as by the book as I could be. And I remember thinking I had heard you're not supposed to use oil, and I remember thinking, oh, are you sure we can put that oil in there? But my hair needed oil. My hair needed oil before the locks. So of course it was going to need oil after the locks. And I will tell you, for those people that I have seen who do not use oil, yes, their locks may be light as a feather, but their locks look brittle and dry. Everyone that I've seen who doesn't use any type of oil on their hair, it seems to be more prone to thinning over time than those of us who condition our scalp. Only time will tell. Okay, we can't know everything. We only know what we know. But I love y'all. I'm sending you lots of good energy. I hope that you are feeling peaceful, productive, and prosperous as we go into this beautiful month of March, into the Aries season, but into the spring. And while I got you here, let me pull a guidance card for you, something to meditate on, to take away for the day. If you happen to still be here, we have the Strength card. So for some of you guys, you're in a great position of strength right now. If you haven't been feeling very strong, you're getting your energy back, you're feeling bolder, you're feeling more courageous, you're feeling more connected with life. And for others of you, the Strength card may mean that you need to step into your strength, that you need to take a position of authority and leadership in a situation, and remember that you always reserve the right to direct and control your life, and that you have everything that you need in order to move in the direction that you're trying to go in and to accomplish your goals. Thank y'all so much for loving on me, because I sure love y'all, each and every one of you out there that are my subscribers. I really appreciate you. I love you, and I just want to thank you again for all the beauty, all the light, all the sincerity, all the wisdom, and all the shares that you all have showered me with on this channel. And please continue to share your likes, your commentary, and your personal stories on this hair journey of ours. Much love to y'all. Enjoy the spring.